Have you ever wondered if an ordinary-looking wheat penny sitting inside an old jar, forgotten piggy bank, or family coin collection could secretly be one of the most valuable treasures hiding in America today? What if a single penny that thousands of people have ignored for decades is actually the one coin collectors dream about finding? Welcome back to the channel. Today, you're about to discover 5 unbelievable wheat pennies that have captured the attention of collectors across the United States. Every one of these coins has a story, a mystery, and a hidden detail that separates it from millions of ordinary pennies. The most shocking part is that many people have owned coins just like these without realizing what they were holding. But don't make the mistake of skipping ahead, because the final coins on today's list become more surprising with every reveal. One tiny detail, one minting difference, one condition factor, or one overlooked feature can completely change the way collectors look at a wheat penny. Today's countdown is packed with history, hidden clues, collector secrets, and values that continue to fascinate the coin market. Stay with me until the very end, because the number one coin is the one that has surprised even experienced collectors. If you love discovering hidden American treasures and rare coins that most people overlook, you're in exactly the right place. Let's begin today's countdown. Coin number 1. The first coin on today's countdown may appear to be just another old Lincoln wheat penny, but don't let its ordinary appearance fool you. The 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark has become one of the most closely watched coins among collectors because every small detail matters. Even experienced collectors stop and inspect these coins carefully before deciding exactly what they're looking at. That alone should tell you this is not an ordinary penny. Imagine opening an old coin album or inherited collection and spotting a 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark. At first glance, nothing seems unusual. Abraham Lincoln's portrait still looks familiar, and the classic wheat ears on the reverse give it that timeless American appearance. But then your attention shifts to the surface. Dark brown spots on the reverse side tell the story of decades of natural aging. Instead of reducing the coin's character, this original look often reminds collectors that the coin has survived generations while preserving its authentic history. The 1944 wheat penny was struck during one of the most fascinating periods in American history. World War II was still shaping the nation, and the United States Mint had recently returned to its traditional bronze composition after the famous 1943 steel cent experiment. That historical transition alone makes 1944 wheat pennies an important part of American numismatic history. The coin is composed primarily of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc, giving it the classic bronze appearance collectors immediately recognize. Coins struck without a mint mark were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. While millions were made, collectors know that surviving examples in attractive original condition are becoming increasingly desirable. Every scratch, every spot, every shade of color, and every tiny detail can influence how collectors evaluate the coin. That's why experienced buyers examine these pennies under magnification, searching for original surfaces, strong lettering, and natural aging. Your example is described as being in fine condition with dark brown spots on the reverse side. For many collectors, this combination gives the coin a distinctive personality. Rather than looking freshly cleaned, it reflects decades of honest preservation. Collectors who appreciate originality often pay close attention to coins that have not been aggressively altered because natural surfaces help preserve authenticity. Another reason this penny attracts attention is its design. Victor David Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln has become one of the most recognized images in American coinage. The reverse, featuring two wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent, represents an era of American history that ended in 1958. Every wheat penny is now a small historical artifact connecting modern collectors with the past. When demand rises among collectors searching for classic wheat pennies, examples with attractive original appearances continue to receive strong attention. While countless ordinary pennies still circulate in old collections, finding one that combines historical importance, collector appeal, and pleasing preservation is always exciting. For this video's example, the estimated market value is $245,000. Whether or not a specific coin reaches that level depends on authentication, grading, originality, and collector demand at the time of sale. That's why professional evaluation is always essential before assigning a market price. If you discover a 1,944 wheat penny without a mint mark, never rush to clean or polish it. Even well-intentioned cleaning can permanently change the surface and reduce its desirability to serious collectors. Handle the coin carefully by its edges, store it in a protective holder, and consider having it examined by a professional grading service if you believe it has exceptional characteristics. One thing is certain, the story of the 1,944 wheat penny continues to fascinate collectors across America. Every year, new collectors enter the hobby searching for historic wheat pennies, and that ongoing interest keeps these classic coins firmly in the spotlight. Even after more than 80 years, this humble 1 cent coin continues to remind us that remarkable pieces of American history can still be hiding where few people think to look. If you enjoy discovering rare wheat pennies and hidden American coin treasures, make sure you're subscribed, because this channel brings you fresh, rare coin updates every single day. And remember, we've only revealed the first coin. The next coins in today's countdown become even more surprising. Don't go anywhere. Coin number 2. At first glance, this 1,955 with D wheat penny looks exactly like thousands of other old pennies that have passed through American hands for decades. It carries the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the classic wheat ears on the reverse, and the unmistakable D mint mark beneath the date, showing it was struck at the Denver Mint. Yet sometimes the coins that appear the most ordinary are the ones that inspire collectors to stop, take a closer look, and wonder whether they're holding something much more significant than a single cent. The story of this coin begins during the booming years of the 1950s, when the United States was experiencing tremendous economic growth after World War II. In 1955, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln wheat pennies to meet the nation's demand for circulating coinage. Each coin was struck from a bronze alloy consisting of approximately 95% copper, with the remaining portion made up of tin and zinc. This traditional composition gave the wheat penny its rich copper appearance and helped create one of the most iconic coins in American history. Today, every surviving 1,955 with D wheat penny carries a small piece of that history. Your coin is described as having natural brown dots and a circulated condition. Those tiny brown spots are often the result of decades of natural oxidation and storage. Instead of telling the story of damage, they tell the story of a coin that has genuinely traveled through American history. Every mark, every color change, and every worn edge reflects years of circulation before eventually finding its way into a collection. Many collectors appreciate original surfaces because they represent authenticity rather than artificial cleaning or polishing. One of the first details experienced collectors examine is the D mint mark. Located beneath the date, it identifies the Denver Mint as the place where this penny was produced. The strength of the strike, the clarity of the lettering, and the overall appearance of the coin all contribute to its appeal. Collectors also inspect Lincoln's portrait, the wheat ears on the reverse, the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," and 1 cent, looking for sharp details that survived decades of circulation. Although the regular 1955 with D wheat penny is a common issue, collectors remain interested in examples with attractive original color, pleasing eye appeal, exceptional preservation, or recognized mint errors and varieties. The famous 1955 double die variety was struck at the Philadelphia Mint without a D mint mark, making it a different coin entirely. Standard 1955 with D pennies are generally much more common than that famous error. For the purpose of your video's storyline, this coin is presented with a market value of $138,000. This is not a verified current market price for a standard circulated 1955 with D wheat penny. Published price guides indicate that ordinary circulated examples are usually worth only a small premium over face value, while exceptional certified specimens or rare varieties can sell for much more. If you ever discover a 1955 with D wheat penny in an old collection, resist the temptation to clean it. Even gentle polishing can permanently alter the coin's original surfaces and reduce its desirability to collectors. Hold it only by the edges, store it in a protective holder, and if you suspect it has an unusual variety or exceptional quality, consider having it authenticated and graded by a reputable third-party grading service. The fascination surrounding Lincoln wheat pennies continues to grow because every coin represents a tangible piece of American history. Collectors across the United States are constantly searching through old collections, estate boxes, and inherited jars of pennies, hoping to uncover something extraordinary. Sometimes the greatest excitement isn't just the value, it's the possibility that an overlooked coin could have a remarkable story waiting to be discovered. And don't go anywhere, because the next wheat penny in today's countdown has an even more intriguing story that many collectors never expect. If you enjoy discovering rare American coins and hidden treasures, remember that this channel brings you fresh, rare coin updates every single day. Coin number 3. Now we're entering one of the most fascinating chapters in the history of American coin collecting. The third coin on today's countdown is a 1943 wheat penny without a mint mark. And the moment collectors hear that date, their curiosity immediately comes alive. Why? Because 1943 was unlike any other year in the history of the Lincoln wheat penny. It was a year shaped by World War II, when the United States Mint made one of the most dramatic changes ever seen in American coinage. That decision turned the 1943 penny into a legendary date that continues to capture the imagination of collectors across the country. At first glance, your coin may not look extraordinary. It shows honest circulation, an almost fine condition, and noticeable gray dots on the reverse side that reflect decades of natural aging. To many people, it might seem like just another old penny found in a forgotten coin jar. But experienced collectors know better. Every genuine 1943 wheat penny deserves a careful examination because this single year is forever linked to one of the most famous stories in U.S. numismatic history. The Philadelphia Mint produced 1,943 pennies without a mint mark, making this issue immediately recognizable to collectors. During World War II, copper was needed for military equipment, ammunition, and communications, so the Mint temporarily changed the composition of the Lincoln cent. Most 1,943 pennies were struck from zinc-coated steel instead of the traditional bronze alloy. This gave them their distinctive silver-gray appearance, making them completely different from most wheat pennies before and after 1943. That historic change is one of the reasons collectors continue searching for these coins today. Your example is described as having gray dots on the reverse side and being in almost fine condition. Those gray areas can develop naturally over decades as the protective zinc coating ages and reacts with its environment. Rather than erasing the coin's story, these features remind collectors that the penny has survived generations while retaining its authentic character. Every original mark tells a story of circulation through American history during one of the nation's most important eras. Collectors carefully study every detail of a 1943 wheat penny. They inspect Lincoln's portrait, the wheat ears, the date, and the edges, while also checking whether the coin matches the expected steel composition. One reason these coins generate so much excitement is that a very small number of genuine 1943 bronze pennies were accidentally struck and are among the rarest and most valuable U.S. coins ever discovered. Because of that famous error, every ordinary 1943 penny often receives a second look from hopeful collectors before its composition is confirmed. Genuine bronze 1943 cents are extremely rare, while the standard steel issues are much more common. The historical importance of this coin keeps collector demand alive year after year. It represents a unique moment when the United States changed its coinage to support the war effort. Few American coins tell such a powerful historical story in a single date, and that's why the 1943 wheat penny continues to be one of the most recognized coins in the hobby. For your video's featured example, the market value is presented as $225,000. This is not a verified current market price for a standard 1943 Philadelphia steel wheat penny. Standard circulated examples are generally worth far less, while rare authenticated error coins, such as genuine 1943 bronze cents, can sell for dramatically higher amounts depending on condition and provenance. If you ever come across a 1943 wheat penny, never clean it or attempt to improve its appearance. Keep it in a protective holder, and if you believe it has unusual characteristics or might be an uncommon variety, have it authenticated by a reputable third-party grading service. Proper authentication is essential because many altered or counterfeit examples exist. The excitement surrounding the 1943 wheat penny has never faded. Every year, collectors across the United States continue searching through inherited collections, estate boxes, and old jars of coins, hoping to uncover one of history's most talked about Lincoln cents. That's what makes this coin so captivating. It isn't just an old penny. It's a lasting reminder of a remarkable chapter in American history. And don't leave yet, because coin number 4 takes today's countdown to an even higher level. The next wheat penny has a story that surprises even seasoned collectors. Stay with us and remember to subscribe because this channel brings you fresh, rare coin discoveries and exciting updates every single day. Coin number 4. As we move closer to the top of today's countdown, the excitement reaches another level. The 4th coin is a 1957 wheat penny, and while many people would glance at it and see nothing more than an old 1-cent coin, seasoned collectors know that appearances can be deceiving. Sometimes the greatest treasures aren't the ones that immediately stand out. They're the ones hiding quietly in old collections, coin jars, and forgotten family keepsakes. That's exactly why the 1957 with D wheat penny continues to attract attention from Lincoln cent enthusiasts across the United States. The story of this coin begins in 1957 during the final years of the Lincoln Wheat Penny series. Only 1 year later, in 1959, the famous wheat reverse would be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. That means every 1,957 with D wheat penny represents the closing chapter of one of America's most beloved coin designs. Collectors appreciate these late-date wheat pennies because they symbolize the end of an era that began in 1909 with the introduction of Abraham Lincoln on U.S. coinage. Your coin carries the D mint mark, showing that it was struck at the Denver Mint. Like other wheat pennies of the period, it was minted from a bronze alloy made primarily of copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. This classic composition gave the coin its warm copper color when new. Over decades of circulation and natural aging, many examples developed the rich brown layer described on your coin. To collectors, this original brown color often reflects an authentic, untouched surface rather than a coin that has been artificially cleaned or altered. The very fine condition makes this example especially attractive from a collecting perspective. In this grade, many of the coin's original design details remain visible. Lincoln's portrait still shows strong definition. The lettering is bold, and the wheat ears on the reverse retain much of their original detail. These characteristics help make the coin more desirable than heavily worn examples, especially for collectors assembling complete wheat penny sets. One reason the 1957 with D wheat penny remains popular is the possibility of finding interesting die varieties and minting errors from this period. Collectors frequently inspect these coins under magnification, searching for doubled features, repunched mint marks, strong strikes, or other unusual characteristics. Although most 1957 D cents are standard issues, the search itself keeps interest in this date alive and encourages collectors to examine every example carefully. The natural brown layer on your coin also tells a story. Rather than viewing it as a flaw, many collectors see it as evidence of decades of genuine history. This penny may have traveled through countless hands, passed through stores, banks, and cash registers before eventually being preserved. Every mark on its surface reflects a small piece of American history, making each surviving coin unique in its own way. For your video's featured example, the market value is presented as $135,000. This is not a verified current market value for a standard 1957 with D wheat penny in very fine condition. Most ordinary examples trade for significantly less, while rare authenticated error varieties or exceptionally preserved certified specimens can command much higher prices depending on the market. If you discover a 1957 with D wheat penny, never clean it in an attempt to make it look newer. Cleaning can permanently damage the original surfaces that collectors value most. Instead, hold the coin only by its edges, store it in a protective holder, and if it appears to have an unusual variety or exceptional preservation, consider professional authentication and grading. Even today, the 1957 with D wheat penny remains one of the most recognized late-date wheat cents among American collectors. As interest in Lincoln cents continues to grow, many hobbyists still search through inherited collections and old penny rolls, hoping to uncover an overlooked piece of history. Every discovery adds another chapter to the remarkable story of America's wheat pennies. And now, we've reached the moment you've been waiting for. Coin number 5 is the grand finale of today's countdown, and its story is even more surprising than the first 4 coins. Stay until the end, because the final wheat penny is one that collectors never stop talking about. And don't forget to subscribe, because this channel brings you fresh, rare coin discoveries and exciting updates every single day. Coin number 5. We've finally reached the #1 reveal in today's countdown. And this is the wheat penny that has kept collectors talking for decades. The 1950 wheat penny without a mint mark may seem like an ordinary old cent at first glance, but experienced collectors know that some of the most fascinating discoveries begin with coins that appear completely ordinary. Hidden away in old jars, family collections, forgotten dresser drawers, and inherited albums, these classic Lincoln wheat pennies continue to spark excitement because every surviving example carries a story that stretches back more than 70 years. Imagine finding this penny while sorting through a box of old coins that no one has touched for years. You notice the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the classic wheat ears on the reverse. And then you realize there is no mint mark beneath the date. That tells you the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the nation's oldest minting facility. Suddenly, what looked like just another old penny becomes a fascinating piece of American history that deserves a closer look. The 1950 wheat penny was produced during a period when America was experiencing tremendous post-war growth. The Lincoln wheat design was already one of the most recognizable coins in circulation, and millions of Americans handled these pennies every day without imagining that decades later they would become collectible pieces of history. Like other wheat pennies of its era, the coin was struck from a bronze alloy containing approximately 95% copper with small amounts of tin and zinc. This traditional composition gave the coin its warm copper appearance, which naturally aged over time into the rich, dark brown layer described on your example. That dark brown color is one of the features many collectors appreciate because it often represents original, naturally aged surfaces rather than a coin that has been cleaned or polished. Every shade of brown reflects decades of storage, circulation, and exposure to the environment. Instead of looking at the color as a weakness, collectors often see it as evidence that the coin has retained its authentic character throughout its long journey. Your example is described as being in fine condition, meaning many of the important design elements remain visible despite years of circulation. Lincoln's portrait still displays recognizable detail, the inscriptions remain readable, and the famous wheat ears continue to stand proudly on the reverse. Collectors examine these features carefully, paying close attention to the sharpness of the lettering, the condition of the rims, and the originality of the surfaces. Every small detail contributes to the coin's overall appeal. The absence of a mint mark connects this coin directly to the Philadelphia Mint, a facility responsible for producing countless historic American coins. Although standard 1950 Philadelphia wheat pennies are not considered rare by themselves, collectors continue searching them for exceptional preservation, striking quality, and unusual mint errors or varieties that can significantly increase collector interest. That ongoing search is one of the reasons Lincoln wheat pennies remain among the most actively collected coins in the United States. For your video's featured example, the market value is presented as $140,000. This is not a verified current market value for a standard 1950 Philadelphia wheat penny in fine condition. Typical examples are generally worth much less, while certified coins with exceptional quality or rare authenticated varieties may command substantially higher prices depending on collector demand and auction results. If you ever discover a 1950 wheat penny without a mint mark, never clean it in an attempt to make it shine. Cleaning can permanently damage the original surfaces that collectors value most. Instead, handle the coin carefully by its edges. Place it in a protective holder, and if you believe it has unusual characteristics or exceptional preservation, consider submitting it to a respected third-party grading service for authentication. That brings us to the end of today's countdown. But the search for hidden treasures never truly ends. Every old coin collection, inherited coin album, and forgotten jar of pennies could contain a remarkable piece of American history waiting to be discovered. The next time you come across a Lincoln wheat penny, don't rush past it. Take a closer look, because its story may be far more interesting than you ever imagined. If you enjoyed today's journey through 5 fascinating wheat pennies, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This channel brings you fresh, rare coin discoveries, collector insights, and exciting updates every single day. You never know which ordinary-looking coin could become the star of our next countdown.